Hello my friends, welcome to a new video. Today I'm going to talk about the Thrustmaster TX. The TX is the Xbox counterpart for the T300 on the PlayStation platform. The TX is compatible with both Xbox and PC, and the latter will be my testing ground to see if this base performs as good as the T300 on the PlayStation. The game of choice, after quite some deliberation, is BeamNG. The edition I have is the leather edition, and that seems to be the only one officially sold at this moment in the Thrustmaster webshop. The retail price of the package is $479.99 at the Thrustmaster shop, and the base itself is also available as a standalone for $279.99. Both packages come with an attachment clamp for the desk. For the leather edition there is a minimalistic leather steering wheel included and a set of T3PA pedals. The engine is a brushless 25-watt servo motor of industrial quality. It drives a dual belt, and when in operation the system is relatively quiet. The steering is measured with hard technology, measuring values magnetically and giving the wheel a 16-bit accuracy. It features a quick release system, so you can swap rims if you want. The extremely crude screw-to-lock system can be used to keep your steering wheel into place. The connections are standard, the RJ plug for the pedals, the power cable and the DIN for the shifter. The motor generates the same as the T300, 3.9 Nm max torque. There are some subtle differences between both bases. Apart from the obvious compatibility differences, there are a total of 3 differences between the TX and its T300 sibling. The TX has a 900 degrees turning circle that you can spin the wheel, while the T300 has 1080 degrees. So that's a small difference. Another difference that can be seen is the exterior. So if you look at the exterior of the TX, you see this little hump right in front of the steering wheel, and that's something I didn't know what it was. So I opened up the base and tried to find out what it was, and when I opened it up, I didn't get any wiser of it, so I took a photo of it. But this seems to be integration for the Microsoft Kinect. The third and last difference is that with the T300 on a PlayStation you can hook up 2 extra peripherals like a shifter and a handbrake. With the TX on an Xbox One this is not possible, and you need an extra Thrustmaster SIM hub to get it working. I think the design has been discussed already at length in my T300 video. Seeing the price range of the set, the plastic used in the casing is expected, and it doesn't bother me really. It could have used a bit of color, but the rest of the design is meh, and the hump really disturbs me for a reason. Surely there could have been a better way to implement that sensor without disturbing the design as much as it does now. So the rim used on the TX that I got is the leather edition, and it's 28 centimeters diameter. Feels really nice, like it's leather finished. The metal framing in the middle, I like it a lot. The steering wheel. The use of leather is always a plus, as it just feels good to the touch. It ages better than plastic and just adds so much to the immersion of it all. The layout of the buttons is minimalistic, and those who watched my earlier videos know I prefer a clean wheel above functionality. The quality of the buttons itself is pretty good too, as are the shifters. They give a decent click when changing gears and feel nice to the touch. The only negative point I have for this wheel is that it is too small, but again, that is each their own preference. For the pedals, again, the T3PA pedals, they are not that bad, not at all, but not that good either. They feel a bit light, even with the cone mod installed. But something else that I noticed, because now I use a shifter to test it, and I really don't like the clutch of the T3PA. It has no feeling in it, and that's something. When I drove in BeamNG, I really didn't feel like the clutch was cooperating with me. Of course, this can also be because I am used to the TLCM pedals. The clutch there is much harder to press and just feels better when shifting. In all, it is a basic set of pedals, and it is probably the first change you will make after you buy this bass. The bass rides really well, and the experience I had in BeamNG with this bass is the same as I had with the T300 in Gran Turismo. It has enough power to feel both the car and the surface, and when you drive it, it feels smooth due to the dual belt system, but still you can feel the belt transmission when you drive it. Thrustmaster has a decent ecosystem and very good distribution capabilities, and although I find it expensive, like about everything in the sim racing world, because of the high availability, it also pops up regularly at second-hand sites for a very good price, and this makes the TX and T300 for me the most interesting bang for buck set to buy. One last thing is to be aware that these bases, for a multitude of reasons, can overheat when used intensively, and that you should basically use the forced cooling mode at that point to avoid damage to the base. Better be safe than sorry. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to give a thumbs up if you got something from this video, and consider subscribing if you want to see more reviews. See you all next video.